The Monkey is a short story by Stephen King. It was published in 1980 and it was turned into a film this year. I'm going to talk about Stephen King's story and the film in this video. The basic premise of The Monkey is about a toy monkey who has musical symbols. It's always grinning. It's got a kind of sinister grin always, and whenever it bashes its symbols together, it causes death on a large scale. Stephen King's story follows a family man called Hal. He's up in his attic with his children, and his children find this toy monkey. Hal then panics because he recognises this monkey. It's been in his life since childhood when he found it. And he then reminisces back to his past life, and we learn that this monkey has killed his friend, his mother, and his auntie and uncle. The story glides along nicely with a creepy atmosphere that's very typical of Stephen King. He does that well, and he always has done. It's a supernatural tale, and it kind of reminded me of The Monkey's Paw, which is another famous short story. I recently saw the film in the cinema. The film came out about 2 or 3 months ago. The basic concept is the same. It's about a toy monkey, and the monkey's got this evil grin, and it's all very sinister. But in the film, the monkey doesn't have symbols, it has a drum. Reason being, Disney owns the rights to a monkey toy with symbols, because apparently in Toy Story 3 there's a toy monkey with symbols. So for that reason they had to change it to drums. Upon doing some research on this, by the way, it turns out that this whole monkey toy thing with symbols has a very long history, which I will get to in just a moment. The plot is very different in the film. In Stephen King's story, Hal has a brother, but the brother plays a very minor role and you don't really hear from him that much. But in the film, there are 2 brothers and there's this big sibling rivalry element. So they've changed the story in a big way in that respect. The film has a lot of sibling rivalry, and there's a huge revenge twist at the end that isn't in the book, in the story. Also, Hal is estranged from his son. They parted ways years ago. So they've basically taken the basic premise and they've mixed it around a bit. Like a lot of film directors do when they adapt a story to film. The film is a lot more comedic than the book. I would actually describe this new film as a black comedy. It's extremely gory. The gore surprised me. There's a scene which stands out for me where this man he's getting his head ripped to pieces by a lawnmower, and his neighbour is over by the garden fence, covered in blood, drinking a beer, thinking what the hell's going on. There's another scene where a woman gets her head sliced off with a wire or something. There are loads of gory scenes in the film, but they're portrayed in a very humorous, jovial way. So it's more of not a laugh out loud thing, but it's like a black comedy, whereas the book, Stephen King's story, is pure horror. As I was watching the film, it reminded me a bit of Final Destination. I haven't watched all of those films, but in those Final Destination films, you know that an accident, some horrible accident is about to happen, and you're just waiting for it to happen. It's got that kind of horrible suspense feeling about it. The Monkey is very much like that. It's like a black comedy / Final Destination type thing. So there's that. I also, the ending is wildly different as well. In Stephen King's story, without ruining it, the ending involves Hal and his son on a boat in a lake. But with this film, it's like this huge 2 brothers at war. This big revenge thing. It's like a different story altogether. I did notice though, in Stephen King's story, there's a scene where a pet dog has blood coming out of its eyeballs, and in the film, it's the mother, it's Hal's mother who has the blood coming out of her eyes. You might have seen this clip. I don't think it might be in the trailer or a certain clip on YouTube or whatever, where there's this woman with blood. She's looking straight into the camera and blood's coming out of her eyes. In the original story, it's a dog that happens to, so they've kind of adapted that in a weird way. Thank you for making it to the halfway point of this video. This is a quick message to let you know that I have a range of horror and sci-fi horror books available, and some of them are completely free. If you enjoy my videos, you might also enjoy my stories, so why not have a look? And if you'd like to receive fortnightly updates regarding the world of horror and weird literature, as well as book recommendations and prize giveaways, consider joining my mailing list. You'll even receive free horror audiobooks for doing so, written by me and narrated professionally. Finally, if you want to support my work, you can make a donation to my PayPal tip jar. All the links are below. Thank you. Now back to the video. The original Stephen King story came in the form of a booklet that was included inside an issue of a magazine called Gallery magazine. I love that. I would love to discover a story by having a booklet fall out of a magazine onto my lap and then reading it in a booklet. This is yet another thing that we've lost to the internet. It just wouldn't happen today. Everything is online. So I would have loved to have discovered this story in booklet form. In regard to the history of the monkey toy thing, whilst researching this video, I found this book that was published in 1983 called Monkey Shines by Michael Stewart. It's about a quadriplegic who has a friend who kind of he's like a lab technician working on monkeys, and he modifies this monkey and he gives it to his disabled friend as a carer, and then the monkey starts going mad and killing people. In 1988, 5 years later, it was adapted into a film with the same name, Monkey Shines. And look at the cover. It's got a monkey toy with symbols, just like Stephen King's story. Now, my initial thought upon seeing this was that somebody may have copied Stephen King. It was either author Michael Stewart or George A. Romero who directed the film. However, after doing some more research on this, I discovered that Stephen King's 1980 short story was adapted into a short film without his permission called The Devil's Gift in 1985. And before that, this whole entire monkey business, this monkey toy business, has a long history, like I mentioned earlier. It goes back to the 19th century. Apparently, immigrants to the United States, certain buskers on the street, they had real monkeys and the monkeys were dressed up in uniforms, and some of them had musical instruments including cymbals. And then after that you had several crazes where you had toy monkeys with the cymbals, and this was huge in America, the UK and Japan. I'm not going to go into it here. There's a brilliant video in the description box below. It's only about 7 minutes long, and it explains this whole monkey toy history, and it's absolutely fascinating. All right, so the link's below. Give it a watch. Should you read The Monkey by Stephen King? Well, it didn't blow me away. It was quite good. It was quite atmospheric, but I'm certainly not going to read it again. And I didn't think it was amazing. I'm not actually into supernatural horror, so you know, you could say, of course, it didn't impress me that much. As for the film, it's quite entertaining. I quite enjoyed it, but it's a black comedy. If you want a film that's truly scary and really dark and disturbing, this is not really it. I would say it's like it's not a family thing. It's way too gory to be a family film, but it's got that humorous tone to it. And the main characters start off as young children, so at the beginning it's got like a children's feel to it. But I don't really recommend the story or the film, to be honest. I might I might read Monkey Shines, the other novel, and I might actually watch the film Monkey Shines as well. So if that's good, I'll do a video about that. But I don't really recommend these two. So there you go. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in 2 weeks with another book review. In the meantime, try to have a good day on this horrific Kingstonian haunted piece of rock we call Earth. Lots of love. Goodbye.